What up, pressure washers? So, today I want to go over a little bit about. I had a question come in, and I want to answer that question because I believe it's a very important question, and I think all questions are important. So, if you want to ask a question, you can go to pressurewashhelp.com/ask Jason, and you can put in the question here. But today's question is going to be about pressure washing around stained doors, around stained ceilings, around that kind of stuff. And the reason why this is an important one to do is because some of these doors can be very, very, very expensive. And the last thing we want to be doing is messing up a front door, or if they have a ceiling that has the nice grain wood up there and it's all sealed and all that kind of stuff. And so we want to be very careful on that there. So what up, guys? So if you all want to be able to be notified when I go live, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and you also make sure you when you subscribe to my channel, make sure you hit the bell notification. When you hit the bell notification, it will bring up that I'm going live. So tonight is a Saturday night, and I know that's a little bit different. I had soccer games this morning with my kid, and I couldn't get out of that, so it was about an hour away for tournaments this weekend. So that's why I'm here tonight, Saturday night. Next week, it'll be Sunday night. And if you have any questions, please ask them so that way I can get those questions. So this question is about stained doors and just this being around stained doors, stained ceilings of the, up in the area. Also, if sometimes you'll have some soffit with wood in it, and I've messed up one of those before. So reason why I'm doing this is because this is probably one of the things that, oh yeah, and if you have any questions, please ask down here below, and I will answer any questions tonight while I'm on here also. So if you have any questions, please ask them down below. So what happens is you have a nice door, and a lot of times it don't even have to be a really nice door. It can be a metal door, and you can mess up metal doors. And actually what we tell our techs is to stay away from doors. The last thing you want to do is screw them up. But now, me as an owner, I would usually wash, if I knew it was a metal door and I knew that I wasn't going to mess it up, I would wash them. But even the metal doors, Robin Wash is an actual local competitor around here, and he actually just messed one up not too long ago, and it was some ugly looking purple color. And when he put that SH on it, it just made that, you can see about what happens is about halfway down the door, wherever the sun is hitting the door, so it'll be halfway down in the rest of it, and it will mess that door up. And I think it cost him to have a painter come and do it like $150. So we did one, and it was a super nice door, and it was all stained and looked like, the ones of the expensive doors. And and then we had to actually restain it, the whole, we had to sand it, restain it, and it's just a pain in the neck. So this is why I always stay away from, and especially ceilings, because what happens with the ceilings is it could be years that it's been sealed. And when it's been sealed years ago, even water can make it look like you've screwed it up. So, usually even if you got to take a spray bottle of something with a rag and just kind of hit them top two or three slats, it's always best to stay away from those, the doors and those ceilings. If it has one of those ceilings on it, I'll even tell the customer up front, hey, we can only get so far up because just because of what it is. Now, that's not to say we can't take a dry rag and a little mop or something and do it. Do I have any photos? I don't have any photos right now because I'm doing this live and I'm kind of on the fly. But I'll see if I can find some photos and I will post them. I'll do a short video with them if I can find. I don't remember if it's the door I screwed up. I've seen probably 5 doors screwed up. And then here's another thing: not just worrying about a door that has been stained, but even a door that has been painted. If somebody has painted a door, and we did screw up a garage door. The garage door it had just been recently painted about 2 to 3 months prior to us doing a roof clean, and where we had a hot mix of 56% sodium hypochlorite. It got some drips on that door, and it made that door not look so pretty. And that was a free job and a lot of headache that come out of that job. So when you're doing that, make sure that you are being careful that we know how long this stuff has been painted. I've had some shutters that they had just painted, didn't let me know, and next thing I know, just even a house mix was making that stuff run. So that are some things that we really got to watch to make sure of that. And here's another one that we got to make sure we watch, concrete cleaning. If we really don't want to clean concrete with any type of pressure, if it's I always say 8 months old or older, and sometimes I like to just stick around that year. If you're in, I had some concrete that was, we did a bunch of sidewalks for this subdivision, and there was just like this one section that had this little piece of concrete there. And I'm like, I knew it was probably a month old, and I'm like, because the grass is already starting to grow around it. I'm like, I want to see how much pressure it takes to screw this concrete up. It was way back in the back, so I was like, I ain't worried about nobody seeing it or whatnot. So obviously I knew white tip was going to mess it up, so I did just my ball valve and not hardly any pressure at all, and it flaked that stuff like that. So that is why, and that takes the cream off of that concrete, and then it looks like crap. So anytime we're dealing with oil on it, anytime we're dealing with that kind of stuff on new concrete, we got to use a good degreaser and no pressure at all. I wouldn't even use a surface cleaner on concrete that's more than 8 months old, just because that way you don't screw it up and that kind of stuff. Because the last thing we want to do is screw up concrete. That can get very expensive if the concrete is all messed up. So, so that is some things that we want to make sure. So with all that being said, so that is kind of where the concrete cleaning, the doors, we want to really be careful with the doors. Those doors, especially on some like high end, if you're at the $500,000 houses, or depending on what your high end houses are, them $1 million houses, $1.5 million house, $2 million houses, those doors can be very expensive. So we really, really want to be careful with those. If you got just the construction grade metal door, if you screw one up, you're going to be in a couple $100 and you'll be done. If we screw up a big door of a high end one, then you can be up in the $1,000 range. You're going to be up into the I'm getting my insurance to pay for this crap. So that's why we want to carry that's why we want to carry insurance, so that way if we do something stupid, we have a way to be able to pay it back and to make sure that we don't do stupid stuff to screw it up. So that being said, we always want to make sure that we are being smart about it. Does that make sense? All right, so I'm going to answer some questions. I see I got a few questions here. I'll go through some questions here, and I will go through it and see what is done. So I just see one here about some concrete cleaning from Phoenix Firearms. I just did a concrete on a job that was about 6 months old. I only used a J rod, and I could tell and I told the customer that I can't use high pressure or acid, and I had to be extremely careful. It is very nerve-wracking because you want it cleaned, but you want to make sure that we don't screw stuff up. Because if we screw it up, then guess what? And that's where we want to set the expectation of, hey, this is new concrete. And that's the thing, we want to set expectation. Now, we don't want to screw it up, obviously, but if we can set the expectation, especially if it's like hydraulic oil or, the worst is engine oil. And here's the thing about concrete. Concrete is like a big sponge. What it does is it was removing rust from a sprinkler system. Yeah, and you got to use an acid to get it moved. Otherwise, or an F9, which is an acid, to get it to be able to remove the rust. But concrete's like a huge sponge. So, that oil, you will never get oil 100% up because it's going to go in that concrete and go deep. Can we get the top layers off of it? Yes, but usually if you wet concrete, you can see down in the concrete, and that's where you're going to be seeing that stuff in the concrete. And so that is why even like a rust removal job, we would always put a deep penetrating sealer on it, or a battery acid job. And the reason why we would do a deep penetrating sealer is so that way we could seal that rust in, and that water can't get down in there to show up that rust again. And that way you do that. And F9 is safer, but F9 is still an acid. My F9 didn't work too well. Maybe my inspections were high. Or did you follow the process? And you really, really got to follow the process when you're applying F9, especially on the sprinkler side of things and the rust and all that kind of stuff. You got to first clean it, you got to then apply it, you got to let it dry 100%, and then you got to spray it again and let it dry all the way again, and then you got to spray it again and let it dry all the way again, and then you rub it in. And so it's a 3 or 4 step process, but it does work really good. I've had really good success with it. But it is not something that you can come in and do it in an hour and think that it's okay, that you're going to be able to get it done in an hour. I use very little MD80. Yeah, MD80 is a good product too, but again, it's an acid too. So we got to be careful, just be careful with your acids. All right, let me see what else questions I got here. I'll just start up. Let me go up here to the top. Thanks for sharing. Thank you for watching. If you wasn't watching, I wouldn't be sharing. So thanks for watching. Oakland, Maryland. For Callis Auto Detailing, Oakland, California. So we're on both sides of the country. I sure did like the tip about the 4-inch Calvinated pipe and a IBC tote to keep the water from sloshing. That is probably the best tip ever right there, is the 4-inch corrugated pipe in a tank to keep it from sloshing. It does a couple things. It really keeps the safety side of things, because that's hard on your transmission, where that sloshing and all that kind of stuff. I even put it in smaller tanks. Like if I have like a 50-gallon tank that for whatever reason I've had to put it long ways with my truck, and that can cause just a little bit of sloshing. So just something in there to keep that from moving around. And it's fairly cheap. Those balls that you can buy for this anti-slosh stuff that are like $10 a piece, and you got $1,000 in the anti-slosh balls, are crazy. I enjoy listening to you power wash. Thanks, David Buck. I'm glad somebody does. What's happening? Do you do roof washing? If so, what equipment do you need with this? We do roof cleaning. I have a video. Let me see if I can go find it here without a video all about roof cleaning. And it's a soft wash system. And this soft wash system is the exact same thing you need for roof cleaning. And if you don't want to do the metering valve and all that kind of stuff, you don't have to do the metering valve. You can actually just use the pump and the hose reel and all that kind of stuff, and that will work just fine. Let me see if I can find that video and I'll put a link to it. But yes, we do roof cleaning. You can get into it you can get into it fairly cheap. You can get into it for about $600-800. You can get into it even cheaper than that if you really want to be tight. But it's a great way to make a lot of money. It's a great way to be able to get our average tickets up to the $800-900 range. And I always tell people, don't do them cheap. A lot of people want to do roof cleans for fairly cheap, and I don't like that. And the reason why I don't like to be real cheap is because of there's a lot of dangers to it. You getting up on roofs, you're using ladders, you're doing all kind of stuff that you're using strong chemical that can kill stuff. You are, like I said, I'm still trying to find it here. I haven't found it yet. I will get it here as soon as I do, if it's going to allow me to find it. But I'm not having luck with it right now. So there's all kinds of things that we got to be careful with when we are doing roof cleaning. So I'm going to put this link here. This is a link for the soft washing stuff. Copy. This will be all the soft washing stuff right here. There's the link to that, and this is for soft washing. So it is a great thing. I go over all of it in there. Also in my membership, I go over everything again too, but I think I have another playlist that's actually better. This is how to actually build the soft wash system. I actually have a playlist about roof cleaning, making sure that, water is the dilution is the solution, make sure we're not killing plants around, make sure that we are taking care of everything in there. And in my membership side of things, I go in detail on everything that we need to know, the chemicals, the whole 9 yards, which most of you probably already know the chemicals in that, but it just goes over in detail of that kind of stuff. And that's pressurewashhelp.com/training. But all right, so that was that question there about roof cleaning. Clean rust off flagstone with muriatic acid 2 weeks later. It came back. Is this possible? LH, I cleaned rust off a flagstone with muriatic acid. 2 weeks later, it came back. Again, was it wet when you came back and looked at it? It can come up. I don't really like using muriatic acid just because it's a really harsh muriatic, that's a really harsh chemical. That's really harsh acid. And I know people will always be like, well, you can use it and it's cheap and that. Yeah, you can, but be a professional, use professional stuff, and that way you can see what it is. If we're using professional grade stuff, then that way, if something goes wrong, then we got somebody to fall back on and ask questions. Craig Harrison is the best man for rust and asking questions about. Hands down, F9 Craig Harrison. I've talked to him several times personally of asking questions of, hey, I got this on a building, what do I need to do? He's like, well, if you don't fix the rust problem, it's going to come back. So it could come back if you don't fix the problem that's causing the rust. If there's something in that stuff that has rust in it, it's not going to fix that problem. If it's like little circles from chairs, then maybe you could seal it so that way it's not coming up there to that. All right. I see I got lots of questions. How much is your Google Ads service? So I have two different services for Google Ads. In the spring, it's probably going to change up. I'm just trying to figure out what's best that I want to do and be able to be the best that I can do for you. But right now, I have a service that is $2.99, and I upload my AdWords into your system, and I run it. I put all my negative keywords. I put all my my ads, the whole 9 yards in there. And when I do that, then I run it. I'll make sure I keep adding negative keywords. If people are searching for your competitors, I'm gonna keep adding in those negative keywords. So that way we're not spending money for stupid things. So that's one service that I do for $2.99, and that's a monthly recurring fee. And then whatever your ad spend goes on top of that. So, if you spend $1,000 on ad spend and $300 for me, so $1,300, you should get around $6,000 to $8,000. You might get a little more, you might get a little less. It just depends on your area. If you got a lot of competition, right now, Cincinnati has got a ton of competition. People are coming out of the woodworks, and we're paying some clicks anywhere up to the $30 and $40 click for some certain keywords. So we have some competition. There's keywords that are up to $90 a click. So of course I kind of make them spend it. So that is what I do. But yes, AdWords is a great thing. The other thing I can do is if you want to run it yourself, and I will show you how to do a lot of it. And some of this is going to come into my training. I'm going to put all my AdWords stuff into my membership side of things. My negative keyword list is going to be in there. Some of my ads are going to be in there. Everything for in my marketing stuff is going to be into my marketing side of my membership, because I want my membership to be the best membership out there and give you the most of everything you need. But with that being said, the other services is $500. I upload everything to you, and then what I did, I just did one of these about this past week. And then what I do is I'll get on a Zoom call, and then I'll walk you through in about 30 to 45 minutes. I'll walk you through everything, and I show you what you need to do to make sure your ads are running correctly. I show you how to make sure you're adding your negative keywords on a ongoing basis. I upload 500 negative keywords into your list already, but then you got to keep adding them. Otherwise, you might be paying for stupid clicks that you don't need to be paying for. So that is why we do that for. All right, let's see. Hello, Jason from Cookville, Tennessee. From Rick's House Washing. I used, can you do a video on soft wash system for that Northern Tool is selling for $3.99, please? I haven't seen that system yet. I'm gonna have to, if somebody wants to email me that link, you can and I'll look at it. You can email me at pressurewashhelp.com or pressurewashhelp@gmail.com. I haven't seen the $3.99 system. I think the homeowner used the water from the bad well again and got rust. Oh, on the rust side of things, yes. If you don't fix the problem, your solution isn't going to work for rust removal. So if there's something that's putting rust on it, you can't. You got to fix that problem. We had a building that had like metal rods sticking out, and it was running rust all down those buildings. So what we ended up having to do is clean the rust and get it all off there, and then put silicone around it so that way the water couldn't get in there to get it back out of there. When you price roof cleaning, you're not competing with other power washers in town. You're competing against the homeowner trying to do it on their own and getting hurt. I would have to disagree on that, Future House Washing. when you are doing, here's the thing about competition. You are your competition. People, I hear it all the time. Well, I can't charge that. My competition's only charging. I tell you what, my competition's only charging $200, $230. Okay, so for a house wash for Pressure Wash Cincinnati, it's a minimum of $300. DJ Lyle, he might be in here. I haven't seen him post in here from Liberty Power Wash, is doing it for $200. And in the spring, he was doing it for $179. Yeah, he's my competition. But you know what kind of people he's looking for? Not the same type of competition that I am. I'm spending AdWords and I'm getting people from AdWords. And here's the thing about that. There is a certain type of customer that's going to come and look for you for AdWords. There's a type of customer that's going to come that is looking up $239. See, $239. Our minimum is $300. $270. It's like $299 now is our minimum. So with that being said, we're using AdWords. We're spending $300 a day, $6,000 a month in AdWords to keep 3 to 4 trucks running busy. So those are the types of customers we're looking for. He hasn't done AdWords. He's looking at doing AdWords in the spring. But that is something that is into marketing. And the more you get into marketing, the more you'll be able to charge. Now, here's the thing about that too. So he's at $239 and I'm at $300. He's doing it himself. He's not having to pay all the other stuff we have to pay when we have employees to run 4 trucks. So who's going to be more profitable at the end of the day? Probably DJ is, even being smaller. Because here's the thing, you got these big companies, and you may want to become a big company one day. And if you do, that's a great thing. But you got to remember, sometimes you can make more money being small. And here's the reason why. Because you don't have, yeah, exactly, Liberty Power Wash, me. You don't have to pay employees. You don't have to pay workers' comp. Because you can't pay workers' comp if it's only you. Because if you get hurt, then that's just the way that it is. That's just the way it is. So if you get hurt, it's just you getting hurt, and you're out of business at that point. And that's why workers' comp isn't going to cover you for that. So that's one less thing you have to pay. When you have employees, they will tear stuff up, so you're going to have a more cost of keeping equipment running. And that when you have employees, they will burn stuff up more likely than you. They will tear up stuff. They will kill stuff more likely than if you were doing it yourself. So with all that being said, make sure when you think about growing a big company, really one reason why you want to grow a big company, and that is to do what I did. Grow it and then sell it. If you're not planning on selling it, then, can you be 2 or 3 employees? Absolutely, and be very profitable. Just remember, you can set all that kind of stuff and do everything you need to do. So sorry about my tantrum, and I'll get back to my questions now. Can you explain, let's see. UJ, can you please explain how downstream works and how it connects at the same time as water? All right, so how a downstream works is through a little downstream injector. You're going to put it by your reel. Usually, you're going to put it before your reel. And the way it works through. Shoot, it just left my mind. Basically, at lower pressures, it's going to draw in that. When we go to a higher pressure, it actually shuts it off. I actually put a shutoff valve or a 3-way valve so it actually pulls water. Yeah, Venturi. Thank you, Corey. I just couldn't think of that word. So when it works through a Venturi, and that's how it pulls it in there. So what we do is we use a 3-way valve, and so that way it's going to pull soap, and then when I turn it off, it's going to pull water. Now we can use a J-rod with higher tips in it. The problem that I had with using higher tips is there's a good chance that you will remove oxidation on a house that that what is the white chalky feeling, and when you remove that oxidation, you have it'll look like pencil marks all over the vinyl siding, and it's not a good thing to do. You're gonna have to get it all off of there. With that being said, that is why I use a downstream injector, and I use a three-way ball valve, so that way I can turn that ball valve on and off, and that way it doesn't damage the house and that kind of stuff. Do you ever do any rust removal? And that's from Corey Wilson. Yes, we've done lots and lots of it. It is a great moneymaker. Don't go cheap on it. I do. We were at $1.50 to $2 a square foot, depending on how big and how much it was, because we not only removed the rust, we would also always put a deep penetrating sealer on it, so that way it will not come back. And that's why we would do the deep penetrating sealer, so then that way it would keep the concrete better and that kind of stuff. Let's see here. Lumford, can I set my budget for AdWords at $5 per day? I don't want to spend $500 or $6,000 a month. No, $5 a day is not going to get you anything. You can set it for $5 a day, but you will get nothing. I understand you don't want to spend $6,000 a month. You can spend, if you spend $30, if you spend $20 a day, I would at least do $30 a day, because on average, depending on your clicks, you're going to get them for anywhere from about $5 to $10 a click. It might actually be more than that. Can you get cheaper clicks than that? Yes, but good luck on it. You're playing a game of basically they're going to have to scroll down so many times to be able to get that cheaper click. If you want to be in that 1, 2, and 3 spot on the top page, you're going to have to pay anywhere up to $10 a click, $10 to $15 a click. So, if you spent $30, and here's the thing with us, it usually takes 3 clicks to get 1 lead. So that is how that works. So if you could spend, like I say, $1,000 a day. And here's the other thing too. We only run our ads Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Sometimes we'll run them on Sunday, but that's when the phone's gonna ring and that kind of stuff. And if you're not gonna answer your phone, I'm probably gonna suggest you not do AdWords, because you're gonna waste your money at that time. If you don't answer your phone, you're just shooting yourself in the foot at that point. Even if you gotta pay a service to answer your phone, while there's Jill's office, there's a bunch of different services that you can pay to go and answer your phone to make sure your phone is getting answered. And if you're getting your phone answered, that's a good thing. All right. Let's see. How much to charge for a 10 roof wash, remove flakes, or strip before painters come in, or just clean it without? $1 million, because that sounds like a pain in the neck right there, because you're trying to strip the paint, make sure it's not going to flake and all that kind of stuff. You're probably going to be like turbo nozzling it or something like that if you're trying to get the flakes off. So I would probably charge it by the hour. Try to figure out. So I always charge $200 an hour, and that was from me starting from the day one. Michael Kreisley always pushed $200 an hour, so I was like, hey, if he's gonna push $200 an hour, I can push $200 an hour. So with that being said, I always push $200 an hour. So what I would do is think how long it's gonna take you to clean that roof. If it's gonna take you 8 hours, then I would be at $1,600. So in that way, that would just be how I would do it. If it's going to take you 2 days, then I would be, 2 times 8 or 10, 20 hours, $2,000, or shoot for $2,000 a day. So that's kind of the way we do it. Vehicle for soft washing. Can you buy a Kia Soul? Well, you can, but I don't know how well it's going to work for you. You can buy anything. You can buy a small truck. You can buy them little I mean, I know somebody does it out one of the little transit vans and does fairly well with it. You don't need a whole lot. UJ, thank you for know if there's any way to have someone set up our power washer chemicals on a truck for us. Actually, I do know somebody. He's in here. I don't know if he's still in here. He said he had to go play hockey here shortly. DJ might be able to, or me. Let me, if you would like that, send me a go to pressurewashhelp.com/askjason and send me some information and a phone number so we can give you a call. So Liberty, yeah, DJ's still here, Liberty Power Wash. And because we're actually thinking about maybe doing some small rigs. If you'd be interested in a small rig built by us, put a comment down below or send me a question at Ask Jason. Or you can go to pressurewashhelp@gmail.com and send me an email there. A Kia Soul. Steven put, what's your opinion on truck wraps versus door magnets for advertising? Is it worth it? So we grew our business. I grew my business to $1 million, $1 million. In 2017, we did $1 million. In 2019, we're going to do another $1 million. And guess how many trucks we have wrapped? 0. Do I think that wrapping your trucks and can help you? Yes, I do think that. But here's what I also think. What if you spent that $3,000 on a truck wrap and put it somewhere else? How long is it going to get you? How many calls will it take you to get it from the truck wraps versus if I put that $3,000 on Google AdWords? I mean, I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying if I spent $3,000 on Google AdWords, that I know that could get me $18,000, $20,000 versus how long is it going to make me to get that same amount of money on there? Can you letter it a lot cheaper? Yes, you can. And I mean, I had a couple trucks that were lettered, and I got jobs off of lettered trucks, but I never got big phone calls from my truck wraps. Did I get big phone calls from my Google AdWords? I mean, they just cleaned a Hilton that was $30,000. That didn't come off of no truck wrap. That came off of Google AdWords. So Google AdWords or Maps, one of the two. So that is why I would, like I said, the whole, the whole branding and all this stuff, yes, it's good. I'm not going to say it's not bad because there is things you can brand. But branding is not just a logo. Branding is not just a truck. It's the whole shoot and shebang. It's how you deal with customers. It's how you answer the phone. It's how, Chick-fil-A, what's their branding? My pleasure. They have the best customer service in the restaurant business. You can't go nowhere better than Chick-fil-A to find the best customer service. And that's why they're coming up on number one in the restaurant that's closed on Sunday, because they have the best there. You can't go, you can go to Big Mac and buy a Big Mac or a double cheeseburger meal for $5. You can't get nothing off of Chick-fil-A's menu for $5. That's how they are able to, but they have the best customer service that you ever want. And so that's how they do it. All right, that's my rant on that one. Michael puts, what's some good hot water pressure washers? 4,000 PSI, 5-gallon range. That is a good pressure washer. It depends on what you're using it for. If you're using it for a lot of concrete cleaning, when I went to Bethlehem and did a class up there, I taught a class up there in Bethlehem for Jack Kramer's class. I went to one of the guys' shop up there, and he made a boatload of money doing a lot of like the strip malls and stuff. And that's all they had was 5-gallon a minute. They had no 8-gallon a minute. You know why they didn't want 8-gallon a minute? Because that's a lot of water going out the truck. Where if you're taking a tank and you're doing some strip malls and they had 500-gallon tanks in the back, so they go fill up, They'd actually fill up before they left, and then that way they could clean and then move on. Well, you take 5 gallon a minute versus 8 gallon a minute, you can almost clean twice as much with a 5 gallon versus an 8 gallon. So it just depends on what you're wanting to do with it. If you're doing a lot of house washing and a lot of driveways and that, then you might go with an 8 gallon a minute. But an 8 gallon a minute is going to cost you an arm and a leg versus that 5 gallon a minute. Unless you can find one off of Craigslist or something like that. Is there truly a noticeable difference in flow when you use an injector bypass? There is when you are surface cleaning. You will notice a difference when you are surface cleaning, because with that restriction in that line, you will notice a difference when you are surface cleaning. Will you notice it house washing? Not really much at all. Benjamin Baker put, always good to be on your videos, Jason. I signed up last week for your monthly program. Looking forward to the future. Awesome. Thank you. I will email you soon for a time to talk about AdWords and things. Thank you, T. Loans for. We use a 12-volt pump for house wash and love it. And that is something that you can do. I have a good friend, Eric Decker, down in Evansville, Indiana. I actually met with him. We had a soccer tournament down there. He came up and did my Christmas light training last year, and that's all he uses is 12 volts. He don't use. Only reason why he's got a little pressure washer is to do like the sidewalks and that kind of stuff. Can you house wash with a 12 volt? All day long, and with the mixer valve, you can even do it even easier. Or in what he does is he actually has two 12 volts, one that or one that cleans the house and one that rinses it. And then that's how he does it. So, it's just basically a soft wash system at that point. And that's how you're doing it with. I live in Canada. Would that work? What would work? I'm missing something there. All right, how do you winterize your equipment? This is a great question. How do you winterize your equipment? If you're anywhere from about where we live out right here in Kentucky, maybe in Tennessee a little bit, but mostly Kentucky and up, you need to winterize. It gets cold, it gets freezing, and it will freeze. And you don't have to be real cold to freeze. I've froze up many things. This past year, they went to a dryer vent cleaning and took the pressure washing truck, and it was an icicle when it came back. Everything was frozen. Luckily, nothing broke, but everything froze. So there's a couple ways you can do it. I've done it. I've tried to drain it all out, take an air compressor and blow air in it. Done it that way. The way that I really like to do it is there you can either take RV antifreeze if you want to be nice environmental friendly and put into drain everything out so far that you can get drained out, and in the buffer tank put a couple gallons of RV antifreeze in it, and then run the pump, run everything through your lines, and then you can take a little tool that will see how far that it will keep it from freezing. Or you can use windshield washer fluid because it's usually rated to -20, so that way it don't freeze when it's throwing up on your window, and you can run it through your pump and everything. And it might be a little bit, antifreeze has gotten a little crazy and expensive, especially if you use like the mixture stuff or the RV stuff. It's gotten a little crazy high. Just on that on that water or on the windshield washer stuff, make sure it's good for the winter time and it's good for the really cold stuff. The last thing you want to do is freeze up your pump, and that's not a good thing. Also, I'll move on to my next question, but if you want to be notified when I go live, make sure you hit the bell notification, hit subscribe and then the bell notification, and that will send you an email out saying that when I'm going live. I'm also trying to set up some other stuff so that I can send an email out, but I haven't got that technology done yet. It's getting there, but I'm kind of waiting on my wife to help me. All right, Michael S. Do you use good, better, and best packages for your business? And if so, what do they look like? That is a must. You have to do packages. If you want to upsell without selling, do packages. You can do best, better, or premium, gold. It doesn't matter. Just come up with something. You leaving to play hockey? Go have fun. Don't break a leg. Because you are getting old on me, DJ. But you have to in marketing. I go over this a lot in my. I've got it in my head up here that I'm gonna put in my membership of all the different types. But just your packages is where your money is at. You can really make a lot of money by just selling packages. You can take a $200 house wash and turn it into a $1,000 package like that, or a $600 roof clean and turn it into a $1,200 house washing, gutter cleaning, everything package by just putting it out there, because you don't know what they want and you don't know the customer. And most customers will always pick the middle package, and that's just the way it is. We love middle packages because that's what it is. Now, just remember, whatever packages you decide to do, make sure you like doing it. So like our premium package is concrete cleaning. And we used to just kind of set a price there and let it fly. We don't do that no more. We make sure that if we're going to put a concrete on there, a lot of times we won't even put the concrete on there. But people will buy the concrete. But just make sure you're charging, don't be doing a $100 driveway just because you're there, because that driveway will take you an hour to 2 hours and then you lost money at that point. So make sure that you're charging enough in those packages. And people will buy packages all day and all night. And it is a great thing to be able to upsell. Mike A., how do you prevent stains on windows when soft washing a house? DI, after the fact, window cleaning. Here's the thing. So this is one thing. So I got a couple ways you can do that. It's going to be clean when it's done. If they have hard water, that's what the stains will be on the windows. So in our middle package is exterior window cleaning, or it can be, at one point in time, that was our premium, is exterior window cleaning. And so we would do exterior window cleaning to make sure that we're getting streak-free windows. We just use a water-fed pole, use a DI system, and then that way we can make sure. Other than that, I know another. I believe it's the Kramers. They do. They go and X-Jet stuff that you use for dishes. I can't think what it's like. You put in your dishwasher and it keeps it. Do it, and they X-Jet that stuff up on the windows, and it will help do it. It's basically doing the same thing as a DI system is doing. So that is how you're able to do that. All right. Adventure of a handyman. Hey man, does pressure wash help? Talk about cleaning other things from siding and brick other than algae. I talk about stucco. I talk about all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the jet dry is what that stuff is. I talk about all that kind of stuff. Stucco. We do clean a lot of algae. The one thing I don't clean a lot is, and this is more for the out west side of things, and I really didn't know a lot about it until I started doing some of their AdWords, and they're like, we don't do mold. And I'm like, well, what the heck you clean? So if you're out talking more about that kind of stuff, I talk a little bit about it, but I don't go into it deep because I don't have a lot of it here. So that's just kind of what it is what it is. If you're cleaning smog and that kind of stuff, it's going to be a little bit different than that. So that is the difference. All right. Why does this thing keep pushing up? I can't pronounce the name. Is it better to have a professional made website versus a Wix site when acquiring new customers? This is a great question. I like this question, and here's why I like this question. So you can spend a lot of money on a website, a lot. And then they got this stuff called SEO, search engine optimization, snake oil, all kinds of stuff. All right, so here's my opinion on it. Can I make a landing page and make a lot of money? Absolutely, I can. So when you're doing a website, if you're going to do it yourself, you can do it through Wix. You can do it through like Bluehost and host it there, and actually do it through um, um, WordPress stuff. And I listened to a lot of different marketing stuff, and they did a test of which was better between that. And it just depends on what service you're doing. If you're going to have 20 pages, you'll want to do it through WordPress and host it yourself. If you're going to do it through, WordPress is that's what probably 75% of the world uses is WordPress. If you're just going to do like a nice landing page, something like that, then you can do Wix. But WordPress is not that hard. It's fairly simple. There's tons of tutorials out there. I'm going to put some of them in my membership. I haven't done it yet because I didn't know how deep I wanted to go into the website side of things. But just be careful of what you're buying. The thing that you got to watch with a website is so that way you are doing you're just doing different things with that website, and how much are here's the thing. It's not just about the website. There's a lot of factors that factor into it. The speed of it, the does it have, I've looked at several websites, and does it have clickable numbers? Does it have, how many websites I go to and doesn't have a clickable number on mobile? It's crazy. I mean, it's fun to go through websites, and maybe one day I'll go through websites, and if you want me to, let me know. But I can go through websites and just looking at them is it mobile friendly? Is it too many words? Is there any call to actions? The best websites I like is you can't find the phone number to save your life on these websites, or you can't find an estimate button nowhere. I mean, I got a carpet cleaner guy that I've been working with, and you can't find the phone number or the carpet cleaner or the thing. And he's doing almost $500,000, or he's $800,000 wanting to get to $1 million. I'm like, well, if you change your website a little bit, you might be able to get there, because you can't find your phone number and you can't find nothing on mobile. So you got to make sure they're mobile friendly. So don't get too wordy on this stuff. Get to the point and make it what it is. Here's the NT software system. I don't want to mix chemicals. I prefer using a metering system. Oh, yeah, and that's fine. I go over the metering system. I actually put together a whole video series of it. I believe it is pressurewashhelp.com/mix valve. It might be mix-valve, and it'll go over all the valve and everything, and then the whole 9 yards. Let's see, I've heard from Lunsford, I've heard you say you use wax on vinyl houses. How's it applied, and how do you charge for it? So this is, we don't do it anymore, but this was one of my packages. This was my middle package for probably a year or two, and we use super wax. We buy it from Russ Johnson. You buy a little 5-gallon bucket, and it makes 55 gallons. It's like $50 for that 5-gallon bucket, but it makes 55 gallons of mix, and it works good. And basically you downstream it. You put a downstream bucket in there and spray it on. You just got to watch your windows. If you get it on your windows, it looks not pretty at all. So you got to make sure you're rinsing it back off your windows. It does help give it a little bit of a shine, and it will help it I sold it as a mold inhibitor, and that's kind of keeping the mold growing back on it. Did it work very well? I think it might give you about another 6-8 months out of a house wash, but it's just one of those things. People bought it because it was the middle package, and it takes you 10 minutes to apply it. And I would charge anywhere from $50 to $100 to apply it, and it works. I mean, people bought it. All right. So how would you use the RV antifreeze into a pump that doesn't have a buffer tank? Build a funnel and a hose connection? That's a good question. Um, yeah, I would probably do something. That's a tough one right there, man. I might try to put. I tell you what, I might do is put it in like a bucket with a pump, and then pump it in through it, and just hold the trigger and let it all pump through. Um, how you get leads for roof cleaning service? It doesn't work with Google Ads. That's how we get a lot of stuff with Google Ads. Another way to get them is signs. Signs a good way to get them. Roof cleaning, roof washing, black stain removal, roof cleaning, stuff like that on a sign. But yeah, we spend a lot of money on. The problem with roof cleaning ads is you're going to spend more money on them. Don't think that you're going to get $2 clicks for good roof cleaning. Our roof cleaning clicks are anywhere probably up into the higher teens and even lower 20s for our roof cleaning clicks. But you got to remember, a roof cleaning costs, our cheapest roof cleaning is $600. So, and we're going to upsell from there. So, our roof cleaning tickets average probably is about closer to $1,000. So, is it worth $100 to spend? Yeah, we're going to spend more money to be able to get that customer, and then we're going to sell them more stuff after the fact. What's the best pressure washer brand's hot water? I mean, if you want the best, you're probably looking at what's the name of it? Starts with an L. I can't think of the name. They're yellow. They're high dollar. You don't have to have that. You can go with Hot Seas, you can go with Pressure Pro, go with what you want. Londa, thank you, Frank. Londa's. If Londa's is the best, Londa's your Cadillac. That's your Cadillac of hot water. You talk about high dollar, they're high dollar. But Hydrotech's good. Pressure Pro, I've used Pressure Pro. They all use the same components: a pump, a motor, a coil, a burner, and it's a Beckett burner usually. So they're all basically just depending on the quality of the people putting it together. I used to work on fire trucks. Fire trucks are all built the same. Alrighty. When making packages, how many items should you put in them when you want 4 to 5? Actually, 5 can be too many. They say 3 to 5 is optimal. 3 is good because that kind of gets you the one end and then one in the middle. Then if you do 4, it kind of blurs where they're at. And just play with it. Honestly, test to see what's best. Here's the problem with 4. You got a lot more space that you're trying to sell at that point. 3 is nice because you can do, this, and this, and that's it. Especially if you're trying to sell it on the phone. If you're trying to sell something on the phone and you're not doing it through, that's a good question. I'll answer that here shortly. I wouldn't get crazy on the too many packages. I did sell packages on the phone, but a lot of time once I started using Responsibid, then it went through Responsibid. We sent everything through Responsibid. We didn't quote nothing over the phone. And if you want to try a period of Responsibid, you can go to pressurewashhelp.com/Responsibid, and it'll give you a little bit of a discount. Jason, how much pump could a roof pump if a roof pump could pump roofs? It depends on what kind of pump you're pumping it with. Pumping it with a gas pump, you can get a little bit further than a 12-volt pump, but not much. Oh, Extreme Power Wash, what's up? All right. Would you recommend to continue advertising during the off season? No, I don't recommend doing. Depends on, and the off season is if you're going to do stuff yourself, is a great time to work on your website. It's a great time to work on your equipment, but it's not a great time. If you're not going to do jobs in the wintertime, don't spend money on AdWords and that kind of stuff. If you're going to, wait a minute, I take that back. if you're in a location that you can still do that, we still spend money on AdWords, and we will clean. We will still clean even in the wintertime. We'll find days that gets above, that gets above 35, 40 degrees, and that's when we'll go do 2 or 3 house washes on there. And that way we can keep, a couple guys still busy in the off season. So we do spend some money, but we don't spend high dollar money. We cut back quite a bit. And here's the thing, a lot of times, even if you don't cut back, it's not going to spend because people aren't looking for it. And there is people looking for stuff in the off season. Now, if you're from Tennessee down below, Florida, this says that they're off season. This is their starting season. LHC Power Wash. I'm thinking of hooking up an on-demand hot water system to my van. So when I pull water from the tank, it is hot or warm for cold or clean. Any thought? That's not a good thing to do, dude. That hot water will burn up your seals fast, as it is not good on your seals in your pump. You will burn up your pump. So be careful doing that. I wouldn't recommend putting hot water into your buffer tank because it will burn up the seals in the pump. We want the pump cool, and that's what burns up the seals is when it gets hot. Would you start a new business with ResponsiBin integrated from the start? Honestly, I would. And here, and this is what we did for a long time. We didn't have no CRMs. We had none of that stuff. We had ResponsiBin, and we would send our invoices out through Excel, and we did Google Maps, and that's how we ran our business. Now, that's $170 a month, but you got to make sure you set it up properly so that way it's working well for you. Do you make different house wash packages according to the square footage? All our packages are the same. The square footage will change the different types of pricing. So like we'll price a house from 1,000 to 1,500, or 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000, and where like our sweet spot is at 2,500 to 3,000. So we'll price a house set from 2,000 to 2,500, from 2,500 to 3,000, and then move on up from that. 4 or 5 packages only. 20 cents per square foot, reasonable for bidding. I'm in Northern Virginia. For house washing, be where you, you got a lot of competition up there, so it's all about getting your phone to ring and that kind of stuff. But yeah, 20 cents isn't bad at all. It's a good place to start, if nothing else. If you hit a cold water with hot water, you become a window replacer. If you hit a cold window with hot water. And that's even the other thing. If you hit hot water on vinyl siding, it'll go whoop and warp right in front of your face. So never use hot water on vinyl siding. When we would wash houses in the wintertime, we're using warm water. 100-degree water is all we want. So between the windows and we never had a window bust, but I have had vinyl siding go a little crazy on me, and that wasn't a pretty sight. Didn't think about the 12-volt getting hot. Yes. Jason, letting everyone know that fresh Walmart concentrated bleach gets roof and houses washes done. Use 200 gallons this month. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, especially this time of year when the pool shock isn't in play. What soap do you use in your roof mix? I use Snotminade. That way it gives the lemon smell, and it's a great way to, I don't go crazy on it because our house wash is the same as our roof mix. So we do 50-50, 6% of bleach, and then the rest is water. And then we'll do about a half an ounce to 3/4 of an ounce per gallon of mix. Usually it's about a half an ounce, just because I don't like it too sudsy when I'm doing house washes. So that is the reason why I do that. What size tank and how many should I start with if I have a 5.5 pound pump if I do roofs and house washes? Are you 50 or 30? are you going to, is that a 5.5 gallon roof pump or is that a pressure washer pump? Yeah, and you can use the laundry detergent, but then again, I go back to be professional, and people be like, well, and I understand that these guys are making money, but if something goes wrong, it really does help. What's a good price for a 200-gallon leg tank? Find one local, because otherwise whatever you'll buy for the leg tank, you'll buy the freaking, um, the shipping will cost you just as much. But remember, you cannot put sodium hypochlorite in a 200-gallon tank. Because when you're hauling bleach, you're only, by US DOT, you're only allowed to carry 100 gallons. If you more than that, you got to be hazmat placard. Even if you're 50/50, you got to have you got to be hazmat placard anything over 100 gallons. So make sure you're only carrying 100 gallons. What other CRMs would you recommend that are a bit cheaper than Responsibid? I don't know. There ain't. You got Customer Factor. It's cheap. It's clunky. You got House Call Pro. You can do some of that. It's it's getting up there around the $100 mark. There's a long time, but the first until 2015, I never for 2 or 3 years. I just sent stuff out through Excel and go that way, and then just make sure you're following up on stuff. DJ uses lawn something, and it's all right. Also, roof pump on that 5 to 6 gallon a minute. What size tank should I start out with? I would start out with, if you're going to go straight, I would either be a 30 gallon or 50 gallon, either one. 50 gallons not much more expensive. I would probably be at the 50 gallon. That way you got plenty enough to do everything. You could do 2 or 3 in a day at that point, no problem. What product you use to clean cedar shake roofs? We actually use sodium hypochlorite bleach. And what I would do is we would put 50/50 on a regular roof mix. Yard Book is the other one for that. We would do a 6% mix, go up, and we would take a brush, not a metal brush, and clean all the moss and stuff out. And then we used a product called Cedar Renew, I believe it's called. That's out of Chicago. And we would spray this back on it, and that way it's a preservative, and it has wax, and it has all these different things in it to keep that, making it look good. Cedar roof cleaning is a good money maker, but it can be dangerous. I about fell off of a cedar roof because I tried sodium hydroxide. And when you put sodium hydroxide on a cedar roof and you go up to spray it off, it's like a big giant slide, and you slide off of the sucker. Luckily, I caught myself right before I went off, so that's why I went back to bleach. That once you put that bleach on it, it'll kill everything. You can walk on it, clean it, and then you spray this stuff on it, and it makes it look brand new again. Is a 4,000 PSI 4 gallon a minute good for a lot of variety of jobs? So is it worth it? You don't really need to worry about the PSI as much as the GPM. I got a whole playlist of my 5.5 gallon a minute. There is a difference, quite a bit of difference between a 4 and a 5 gallon a minute pump. In especially house washing, if you're doing much of house washing, if you're planning on doing a house washing. If you're planning on doing a lot of concrete, if you're getting up into the 5 and 8 gallon a minute, it will make it go better than that. Please tell us how to winterize 12-volt pump and pressure pumps. Same thing, dude. That's what I'm gonna do to mine. I'm gonna probably shoot a video on it here coming up. So I've been slacking. I've been busy as crap. Doing a lot of stuff here lately. So I haven't got to shoot a lot of videos. So all the price, yeah. So I haven't got to shoot a lot of videos. I'm getting planned back to start shooting again. And so if you got questions, these are what I'm going to be shooting on. Shooting these videos. But I am going to shoot a video on how to winterize the soft wash system, which is the 12-volt system, which is that. Yes, I've been doing some Christmas light stuff, and I've been doing a lot of stuff. We had my anniversary last week, so I was busy doing that kind of stuff. So, what do you like about Yard Book? The price is what he likes about it. But it does work good for him. It does work good for him, and it does do good for him. Give me a suggestion on a rinse tank size for a soft wash rig. You don't need a big one because you got water coming in. So if you got a small 35-gallon tank, that's what I use. I use it for my pressure washer in it, and I just using it as a buffer tank. So you don't need a lot. You could probably get away with a little less than that, but I probably would. I mean, you could get away with a smaller tank. Actually, I tell you what you could do too. I was going to do it for a cheap soft wash system and show you how to build a cheap soft wash system. Is go get either two 35-gallon, or go get two 55-gallon drums, or you could get the two 35-gallon drums, and make sure the one of the drums has the removable lid, or you'll have to cut a hole in it. Put your Hudson float valve in the top of it, and there you go, a cheap tank. Usually you can find them for 10 to 15 bucks and go right through that. How much SH do you go through in a week or a day? A lot. The other week they went through almost, when they did the Hilton, they went through 600 gallons. So do you have any Google ad videos? I have a whole series of Google ad videos on a whole playlist. I believe if you go to pressurewashhelp.com/Google ad, nope, I don't think it's there. That's my service. I do have a whole playlist. Let me see if I can find that playlist for you, and I'll put it up here. The videos, my camera lagged a little bit, so I'm not, I'm talking a little bit slow and that kind of stuff. So that's the only issue with it. I am going to reshoot all of my videos, and I'm going to put all my AdWords stuff in my membership. My goal was to get it in there last week, and goal didn't make it. So that is my goal is to get it in there this week or next. Do I use Facebook ads? I do not. What we will use Facebook ads for retargeting. So like if somebody comes to our website on our pressure washing stuff from a Google AdWords and they don't click the buy and they back out or something, then we will send them a Facebook ad to send them Facebook ads. That's a great way to be able to push it that way. Let me see if I can find this Google AdWords here, and I will send this whole playlist to you. It goes over everything that you need to know for Google Ads. Here it is right here. I'll send it here. I'm going to put a link in the description here. If you're going to go to it, you need to go to it here shortly, because once this is over, you won't be able to see the comments and that kind of stuff. So I will put that in there and then hit send. All right. How much SH do you go through? Do you have it? Yeah. There's your, oh, thank you. Yep. There's Google ads and that kind of stuff. So with that all being said, I've been on here for 72 minutes. Hope I helped you all out a bunch. Go check out pressurewashhelp.com/training. I put a link in here and there in the description. If you want to grow your business, be successful, and move the needle. I'm adding stuff in there all the time. I'm planning on really adding a lot of stuff into it in the next couple. My goal is I want to add all the packages in there. I want to add all my AdWords stuff in there. I want to add everything that to make a business to grow from one spot to the next. And so on that note, I will be here next Sunday. Today was a special day for being Saturday because I am working at the firehouse tomorrow. So next Sunday, I will have a video up at 9 o'clock again. Make sure you hit the bell notification so that way it comes. If you have any questions between here and then, you can either comment on any of my videos or go to pressurewashhelp.com/ask Jason. Give me a like. I'd appreciate it if this helps you out. And would you be willing to help make changes to my website and create some yard signs? Definitely yard signs. I can help you there. On the website, I can maybe look at it and I can give you some stuff. So if you go to pressurewashhelp.com//yard signs, I believe it is. Let me see here, and that way I'll get it up there for you. Because my brain isn't always working here. Pressurewashhelp.com/yard signs. Nope. I had a video on this right here. Shoot. Now it's got me aggravated. Now I'm gonna go look it up here. But I did a video a couple days ago on yard signs. Let me see if I can find that video. And then if you go to the links in it, I will help you. Yeah, yard-sign is it. Thank you. Yeah, go to pressurewashhelp.com/yard-sign, and it will. I will fill out the form and then shoot me your website link, and then that way I can look at it and let you know that kind of, what maybe you need to do and that kind of stuff. So, but hope you all have a great week this week. Go out there and kill it. I tell you something else you can do this week that I know it's not pressure washing related, but make sure the gutter cleaning season is about to hit hard here. I know it's about to hit hard here in the greater Cincinnati area. It's a great way to make $10,000 to $20,000, $100,000, $200,000 in gutter cleaning. Go buy you some $300, $350 worth of signs. Get you 100 signs and go put you some yard signs out about gutter cleaning. Gutter cleaning is a great thing right now to go make money. I put a link in the description of a gutter tool that helps you clean out gutters. Go check it out if you want to know a way to clean them out. We did hand clean them, but we made a lot of money off of gutter cleaning. Gutter cleaning is a great way to make money. If you have the ladders and you're not scared of heights, gutter cleaning can make you a lot of money. So go check out that video that I posted. It was from last year that I did on gutter cleaning with the tool. And it really does, we do hand clean them and all that kind of stuff, but it's a great way to make a lot of money. Especially if you're just starting out and you're looking for something to do in the wintertime, that's a great way to make some money in the next couple months is gutter cleaning. So go get you some signs, put you out a bunch of signs, and then that way you will grow your business doing that. And it's a great way to add the package. Make that a package. Hey, I'll do your house wash and wash your house and then do the gutter clean outs. Or if you have a customer list, hey, this week we have a gutter special going on. Come in and we'll clean your gutters out for you. 1 story is $199 and 2 stories $259. Something like that, and that'll get you a lot of business. So with that being said, I hope you all have a great week. Go make a lot of money. Go make money so that, actually I was talking to a guy this past week that he's made more money than he's ever made in his life by being a pressure washer. So there's a lot of money to be made out there, and it's not all about making money. Money don't make you happy. It makes life a lot easier sometimes, but that don't make you happy. So go out, be successful, help other people, and it'll make you a better person sometime. But with that being said, have a great week and see you all next week on Sunday at 9 o'clock.